So today I thought I'd discuss the differences in the different types of solar power systems. Now specifically I want to talk about the ones that have energy storage, ones that have batteries that you can use during a power outage or during an emergency or off-grid. So that's kind of what I want to focus on, is those types. So the first type is going to be a component-based system, which is where you buy your inverter, charge controller, battery, solar panels. You buy all of those separately, you size them separately, and you build it all together to make a system that fits your needs. Now the second type of system would be an all-in-one off-grid inverter, just like the 12,000 XP here from EG4. And then the third type that I want to talk about is a hybrid inverter, like the 12K PV. So in my opinion, the component-based system, this is your basic solar power system right here. It's pretty straightforward how the components go together and how they work with each other. Now, a step up from that would be the all-in-one off-grid inverter. And internally, a lot of the components, all the components are already built inside and they're wired up in different ways, so it can actually function a little bit more. It has a lot more functionality than a component-based system. Plus it gives you a grid connection, could give you maybe a generator connection, possibly a smart port, and a lot of times there is multiple charge controllers on the inside. So this is definitely an upgrade overall, but it's already pre-built for you in a single package. And then you have the hybrid inverter. Now it's real similar to the off-grid inverter on how it has all the components all put together for you, but it also gives you the capability to interact with the grid. So it can sync up with the grid and it can bring power in, it can send power out, and you can use it to zero your electric meter to try to not bring any grid power in if possible. You can also use it to sell back power to the power company. So I think the best way to show the differences between these three systems is to just go over to the blackboard and to make like some small electrical diagrams, basically show the differences on how these are put together, which in turn that will also show the different functionality and how much more capable each system is. All right, so this here is your basic component system, and the way all the energy flows in this system is in one direction. So you start off with your solar panels, and then the solar panels feed to the charge controller. Your charge controller takes that voltage, changes it down to a good charging voltage, and then sends that to the battery to charge the battery up. Now your battery, it sends its battery voltage to the inverter, which in turn takes that and turns it into 120 volt AC power. And that comes out over here to, usually some outlets are on the inverter, but a lot of times there's a place where you can hardwire up your own outlets or your own loads. And this is how the basic system works. Power really only flows in like one direction. So if any of these components break, since they're all somewhat in series, the whole system will eventually stop working. Now on this type of system, you can buy an inverter that has a built-in charger. So if you buy an inverter that has a built-in charger, it will have an AC input connection where you can connect that to the grid or to a generator, and then if your battery gets low, you can actually charge it with the charger. Now this can be a built-in charger, and this can also be like a separate component as well. So on these component-based systems, I would say 95% or higher are probably all based on a 12-volt battery bank. So the good thing about a 12-volt battery bank is that you can find 12-volt batteries everywhere. You can find deep cycle batteries, you can find golf cart batteries, AGM batteries, lithium batteries, and you can source out a battery bank fairly easy for a 12-volt system. Now the big problem with the 12-volt battery bank is the conversion from 12 volts to 120 volts AC. So if you have, you're using 10 amps of AC power on this side, you're probably drawing about 100 amps worth of power out of the battery. So you've got a huge amp draw since it's such a low voltage battery bank. Now that also affects the charging as well. So say you get a 60 amp charger to charge up your 12 volt battery bank. Typically they only max out at about 800 watts of solar power. So you usually on a small system like this, the total amount of solar that you can have is quite a bit lower. So to combat that, you can always buy a second charge controller. You could have two 60 amp charge controllers, and then you could have two 800 watt arrays, and you'd have it up to 1600 watts, which is still quite a bit lower than what these other systems can do. So now let's go back to the blackboard and we'll look at a rough diagram of an off-grid all-in-one inverter. And stick with me, it may look a little complicated, but it's got quite a bit of capability, and I'll try to walk through it. So this rectangle right here, this represents an all-in-one off-grid inverter. You can see that it has all the components already built inside. You have a charger, you got an inverter, you've got multiple charge controllers, you even got a smart port over here. And there's also added transfer switches. So you've got a transfer switch where you can switch the output from the inverter or switch it over to grid power. And then you also have a switch where you can switch between generator and grid power as well. There's just quite a bit more capability built into the all-in-one inverter. So this battery bank is a 48 volt battery bank, so it can have bigger solar arrays. So we've got two 4,000 watt arrays on this system for a total of 8,000 watts. Sends those to the two charge controllers, which in turn can charge the battery. But the additional thing it can do is it can take the solar panels and feed those directly to the inverter, and it can run the inverter directly off of the solar panels. In fact, it can do both at the same time. It can be charging the battery bank and powering the inverter if there's enough solar power available. And on this system, if there's no solar power and your battery bank is dead, it can switch this transfer switch and then power your loads directly off of the grid. And if you don't have grid power, then it could automatically start a generator and then power your loads with the generator and also power the charger with the generator and recharge your battery bank. So I hope you understand how much more capable this all-in-one inverter is. So it can run the output off of this directly off of solar, directly off the battery. It can run it off of the grid, and it can also run it off of a generator. And it can charge your batteries with solar panels, it can charge the batteries with the grid, and it can also charge the batteries with the generator. And this also has a smart port that it can turn on and off automatically based off of the battery state of charge. So your all-in-one off-grid inverters, they can vary quite a bit. This one is a 120, 240 volt inverter. Some may be only 120 volts. Some may only accept maybe 4,000 watts of solar. And then some can be up to 24,000 watts of solar like this one. Now another feature we didn't talk about on these all-in-one off-grid inverters is most of them are what we call stackable. That means if 12,000 watts isn't enough, you need your system to be bigger, you can add a second one. And they will communicate together, they will sync up in power, and they will output 2,400 watts together. If that's not enough, you can add a third one. So most of these all-in-one off-grid inverters, they'll allow you to stack like 4 to 6 of these inverters together, and you can build a pretty big power system. So now I'll go back to the blackboard and I'll draw out a hybrid inverter. And really I only need to make a few minor changes to the existing drawing just to show the differences in how this one works. So the big difference is on the off-grid inverter there was a transfer switch, and it could switch between inverter power or it could switch between grid power for what was going to the output. Now that's all gone now. The inverter is physically tied to the grid connection, thus grid tied, and the inverter syncs up with the grid. So it matches the waveform and the voltage, and then it's in sync with the grid, so then power can either flow out of the inverter to the output, but it can also flow backwards to the grid to sell back and zero the meter. So the big difference between an all-in-one off-grid inverter and a hybrid inverter is that capability to sync up with the grid. You know, you can bring power in, but you can also send it out to sell back to the power company to zero the electric meter. And then the other big thing you can do is you can use it to share load. Since they're grid tied, the inverter and the grid can both work together to power your loads. So the 12K PV, it's only an 8,000 watt inverter, and say you have a 12,000 watts worth of load. Well, this would supply 8,000 watts, and then the grid would actually supplement, and it would provide the 4,000 watts you were short, and they would share that load together. So you don't necessarily have to have an inverter that powers everything to be able to zero out your electric meter. There's going to be some days sometimes you bring in power, there's going to be other times you're selling back more power. And the idea is that hopefully if you size everything right, that'll even out and your electric bill will be essentially zero, at least for the power usage. Now, of course, if the grid went down, it would disconnect from the grid and then it would only be 8,000 watts of power. So then at that point in time, it wouldn't power 12,000 watts, right? So you'd have to do some load management. You wouldn't want to probably run the clothes dryer. You may not want to run the oven. Maybe not the air conditioner. I mean, there may be a few things that you could go without so that the inverter could power your loads during that power outage. So hopefully this helps you guys understand the difference in the types of solar power systems and maybe helps you guys understand what a big step up it is from a component-based system to go to like an all-in-one off-grid inverter. Now, the 12,000 XP, this is pretty much top of the line off-grid inverter, probably the biggest, baddest, bestest one you're going to get. So there is a wide variety of all-in-one off-grid inverters. You can get them as small as probably around 3,000 watts worth of output, all the way up to 12,000 watts of output. And there's a wide variety in the features that they have. Not all of them are going to have a smart port. They may not have a generator port. They'll have different numbers of charge controller, different numbers of the maximum amount of solar. They're going to vary quite a bit. You just have to buy the one that fits your needs. And the same goes with the hybrid inverters. A lot of them out there. The smaller ones usually run between 7,600, 8,000 watts, that range, all the way up to some now that are getting close to around 16,000 watts of output. So wide variety of stuff out there for you to choose from. You just got to pick the one that fits your needs. So anyway, I hope this helps, and I hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you next time.